You know what the decision is. You don't need anyone to tell you. It appears again and again, always in the same place within you, in that instant of silence before sleep, when the phone goes off and the room turns dark, and your soul speaks louder than your exhaustion. It appears when you are driving home alone at a red light, in that moment when traffic stops and you have nothing left to look at. It appears when you step into the shower and the water starts to fall, and for an instant the noise of the world disappears. It appears when someone speaks a sentence that hits exactly where it hurts, and you have to swallow hard so no one notices. It appears in the moments when you are not distracted, and you know what it is. You might not be able to put it into words, but you feel it. It is a specific decision, a single decision that would change everything, and you have been putting it off for years, not with words, with action. You put it off by acting as if there is still time. You put it off by waiting for the right sign. You put it off by convincing yourself that you need to pray more, fast more, study more, wait more. You put it off by organizing your life around the unfinished business, and this organization, so efficient around what is missing, becomes your new routine. And what you don't realize is that Deus has already shown you. What is missing is not revelation. What is missing is surrender. And that is why you feel this strange exhaustion, this sensation of living in a state of almost changing, almost starting, almost crossing over. You are not stuck for lack of light. You are stuck from an excess of procrastination. I'm going to tell you something that may seem harsh, but I ask you to listen until the end, because after this sentence I will show you the way out. The sentence is this: each day that you put off the decision that Deus has already given you, your soul gets a little more accustomed to the postponement. And what was spiritual sensitivity starts turning into deafness. What was conviction starts turning into doubt. What was a calling starts turning into a memory. And it is not because Deus has given up on you. It is because there is a specific window in which heaven leans over a decision of yours. And this window has a name.
Attention, you need to prepare now. I put together an exclusive resource for those who feel set apart for something greater, but live surrounded by noise, distractions, and mental overload. This is a 30-day journey that will transform your life, a guided path to armor your mind and prepare for what's coming, with daily practices of focus, boundaries, and discipline. Stop negotiating with the noise. Learn to spot distractions before they control you, and strengthen your mind. Also available in an immersive audio version. Over 10,000 readers have already transformed their lives through the 30-day journey. Thousands of people have already started this transformation. People like you, who were tired of living in the fog. Ordinary people who decided to stop accepting mental chaos. Take advantage of this limited time offer only this month. Access your link just below in the pinned comment.
In this video, I will show you 3 things: the name of this window, why it is closing inside you without you noticing, and the exact internal gesture, not emotional, not mystical, but real and executable today, that reopens everything. Before I continue, subscribe to the channel. It is not a formality. It is because what comes in the next part is the point where most people get stuck for their entire lives without knowing it, and I don't want you to miss the next videos in the series, because we are going to descend into layers that nobody usually addresses. Subscribe, turn on the bell, and let's go. The first thing you need to understand is that there is, in the very structure of the Escritura, a word that describes with exactness this phenomenon of time that you are feeling. In the Greek of the Novo Testamento, there are 2 words for time, and this is not a technical detail. It is a key to understanding why you feel this way. The first word is chronos, which is clock time, chronological time, the time that passes the same for everyone, the time measured in seconds, minutes, years. But the second word is kairos, written keros, and it means something profoundly different. Kairos is the opportune time. It is the instant in which something must be done, and outside of this instant, the same action does not have the same weight. The ancient Greeks used this word to describe the exact moment the loom needs to be pulled, the exact moment the archer needs to release the arrow. Before or after the fabric unravels, the arrow misses. Kairos is the time of decision. And when Jesus says in Marcos chapter 1, the time is fulfilled, he does not use chronos, he uses kairos. When the Apostle Paulo writes in Ephesians chapter 5, redeeming the time because the days are evil, he also uses kairos. When the book of Hebrews says, today if you will hear his voice, do not harden your hearts, it is talking about the logic of kairos. The entire Escritura recognizes that there are moments when heaven draws near to a specific decision in your life, and these moments do not last forever, not because Deus is impatient, but because your own soul molds itself to the postponement, and when you put it off enough, you simply stop hearing that frequency. The window continues to exist on heaven's calendar, but you are no longer tuned into it. This also has a name in neuroscience. Researchers at Stanford University and Harvard University, in studies on decision-making and brain plasticity, have demonstrated that every time a person approaches an important decision and pulls back, the brain reinforces the circuit of withdrawal. Neurons that fire together connect more firmly. It is a law of neuroplasticity, known for decades. In other words, procrastination is trainable. And the more you train procrastination, the harder it becomes to decide, even when the decision is the most obvious thing in the world. Brazilian researchers at USP and Unifesp, in papers published on adaptive behavior and decisional anxiety in the Brazilian population, found exactly the same pattern. Chronic decisional paralysis is not a lack of information. It is an excess of practice. You are not stuck because you don't know. You are stuck because you have taught yourself for years that stopping is what you do when something important appears. And this is where the first story I want to tell you comes in, because it portrays your symptom with a precision that is frightening. In the Gospel of John, chapter 5, there is the passage of the pool of Bethesda. In Jerusalem there was a pool near the sheep gate, and there lay the sick, the blind, the lame, the paralyzed, waiting for the moving of the waters. The belief was that, at certain moments, an angel would descend and stir the waters, and the first one to enter would be healed. And there was a man there who had been ill for 38 years. 38 years. This is the key to the story. 38 years waiting for the right moment. 38 years being carried near the water. 38 years seeing other people being healed while he remained. When Jesus approaches him, he asks a question that seems strange. He asks, "Do you want to be made whole?" Why this question? The man has been there, lying by a healing pool for 38 years. Is it obvious that he wants to be made whole? And that is exactly where the point lies. It is not obvious, because after 38 years of waiting, the postponement had become his identity. The man answers, and the answer is revealing. "Sir, I have no man to put me into the pool when the water is stirred, but while I am coming, another steps down before me." Notice the answer. He did not say, "Yes, I want to." He said, "Look at the conditions that prevent me." He had become so accustomed to the almost that the very possibility of healing had been reduced to a structural complaint about logistics. This is what chronic procrastination does to the human soul. It turns the pending decision into furniture. You start living around it without seeing it anymore. You reorganize your entire life around the almost, and when someone offers you the direct way out, your first reaction is not to run. It is to explain why it is not yet possible. You list the reasons. You describe the obstacles. You name the others who would need to change first so that you could cross over. You are not waiting for time. Time is waiting for you. And that is the first difference between those who cross over and those who stay. And look at what Jesus does. He does not argue with the complaint. He does not say, "All right, I will help you get to the water. I will ask someone to carry you." He does three things in sequence, and these three things are exactly what needs to happen inside you right now. First, he gives an order. Rise. It is not a suggestion, it is a command. Second, he specifies the action. Take up your bed. The bed was the symbol of paralysis, of waiting, of the almost. He commands the man to take the very symbol of his procrastination and carry it in his hands. Third, he gives direction. Walk. The healing happened in the movement, not in the bath, not in the ritual. In the movement ordered and executed, the man rose, took up his bed, and walked. 38 years of waiting, and the healing fit into 3 verbs. If you are feeling this while I speak, if you are recognizing something inside you that you have been putting off for years, leave a like on the video. Not for the algorithm. Do it for yourself. This like is a physical way for you to mark internally, I saw this, I will no longer pretend I didn't see it. And stay with me, because now we are going to descend into the why of this paralysis. And the why is deeper than you imagine. The second cause of your chronic procrastination has to do with what you believe about faith. And here I need to correct something that you were probably taught wrong, without malice, but wrong. You were taught to confuse faith with feeling. You believe that you will decide when you feel peace, when you feel confirmation, when you have certainty in your heart. And while that doesn't come, you wait. But the Greek word for faith in the Novo Testamento is pistis, written pistis. And pistis in its origin does not mean feeling, it means active trust. It means the decision to lean on something, to the point of transferring your weight to that something. Pistis was used in ancient commerce to describe the fidelity of a contract. It was used in war to describe the oath of a soldier. It was used in public relations to describe the integrity of a magistrate. Pistis is an act, not an emotional climate. When the author of Hebrews in chapter 11 writes the classic definition of faith, he says, "Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen." Notice the words, substance, evidence. This is not feeling, this is structure. Biblical faith is the decision to act as if what Deus said were more real than what you are feeling. That is why you are stuck. You are waiting for the feeling to arrive before you move. And it is not going to arrive that way. The feeling in the spiritual economy comes after the step, not before. Research from the American Psychological Association, known as the APA, published in journals like Psychological Science and the Journal of Experimental Social Psychology, shows that subjective confidence almost never precedes courageous action. It comes after. The most courageous people you know are not the ones who feel the least fear. They are the ones who learn to move within the fear. Researchers from the Fundação Getúlio Vargas and the Instituto de Pesquisa Econômica Aplicada, the APA, in studies on decision-making behavior in Brazil, identified a consistent pattern in the adult population over 35. Most people who effectively change their level, financially, relationally, spiritually, professionally, report that the turning point did not come from new information. It came from a decision about information they had had for a long time. The difference was not in knowing. It was in executing. And here comes the second story I want to tell you, because it is the perfect portrait of pride disguised as prudence. Do you know the story of Nama, the Syrian general, in the second book of Race, chapter 5? Nama was a powerful man, commander of the army of Syria, valiant, respected, victorious. The text says he was great before his master and of much respect. But he was a leper. All his public glory carried in secret a defeat that no military victory could reverse. A young Israelite girl, a slave in his house, told his wife that there was a prophet in Israel named Eliseo who could heal him. Nama went. He took silver, gold, garments, royal letters. He arrived at the prophet's house with all the pomp of a foreign general. And Eliseo didn't even come out to receive him. He sent a servant to say, "Go wash yourself 7 times in the Jordan, and your flesh shall return to you, and you shall be purified." Nama was furious, offended. The text says literally that he went away in indignation. Look at what he said. "Indeed, I said to myself, he will surely come out to me and stand and call on the name of the Lord his God and wave his hand over the place and restore the leper. Are not the Abana and the Pharpar, the rivers of Damascus, better than all the waters of Israel?" Notice what is happening. Nama had in his head a version of how the healing should be. He had a mental script. And when Deus presented a path that was simpler, more direct and more humiliating than he had imagined, he preferred to go away without healing than to accept the path that didn't fit his pride. And this is your story too. You are putting it off because the way Deus is offering you the way out is not the way you imagined. You wanted it to come with fanfare, with a clear sign, with dramatic confirmation, with an audible voice, with a sign in the sky. And it came in the form of a simple, almost humiliating decision that fits into an act of yours today. It came in the form of send the message. It came in the form of have this conversation. It came in the form of start, even if it's small, even without a guarantee. It came in the form of stop doing that now. And you become indignant without knowing you are indignant, and you put it off. The Escritura is honest about this. It was a servant, someone without political importance, who saved Nama. The servant came near and said, "My father, if the prophet had told you to do some great thing, would you not have done it? How much more then when he says to you, wash and be purified?" And Nama went down, he dipped 7 times in the Jordão, and he was healed. The healing was waiting for his pride to break. Not his faith, his pride. Stop putting it off. That is the point. And here I need to ask you for something specific. Go to the comments and write one word, atravesso, in all caps, atravesso. This word is not a formality, it is an internal declaration. Whoever writes atravesso is positioning themselves before Dios and before themselves as someone who has decided to leave the almost and make the crossing. It is no longer, I will try. It is no longer, I will think about it. It is no longer, I will pray a little more. It is a crossing. And the channel reaches other people who are stuck in the same place where you have been because of these comments. They function as a map for those who haven't arrived yet. Do it. Comment atravesso and continue, because now comes the part that changes everything. The third layer, the most important one, is to understand what the internal gesture is that effectively crosses the decision. And for this, I'm going to show you 2 Hebrew words that describe, with impressive exactness, the movement of the soul when it finally decides. The first word is shav, written shab. Shav is one of the most frequent words in the Antiguo Testamento, appearing hundreds of times throughout the prophets. It is generally translated as to repent, but the translation is weak. It loses the original force. Shav means literally to turn, to return, to change direction. It is the physical gesture of walking in one direction, stopping and turning your body in the other direction. When the prophets called Israel to repentance, they were not asking for emotion. They were asking for a turn. They were asking for shav. The prophet Joel says, "Return to me with all your heart." The verb is shav, return, turn, reorient the body. And here is the point. Biblical repentance is not feeling bad. It is turning. You can feel bad for your entire life without ever turning, and that is exactly what has happened to you in the last few years. You feel, you are bothered, you pray while crying. You wake up at 3 in the morning anguished by the same situation, but you keep walking in the same direction. Shav is the instant your body turns. It is an executed decision. It is the soul making a 180-degree turn, and from that instant on, even small steps start to count as progress, because now they are being taken in the correct direction. Without this execution, all the religious feeling in the world does not move your life by a centimeter. You can have 10 years of devotionals, 20 years of church, the entire Biblia underlined, and 0 shav. And in the end, what counts is the turn. The second Hebrew word is hineni, written hini, which literally means here I am. It is one of the most sacred words in the Antiguo Testamento, appearing at crucial moments. Abraham says hineni when Deus calls him to go up the mountain with Isaac in chapter 22 of Genesis. Moises says hineni before the burning bush in chapter 3 of Exodo. Samuel, still a boy, says hineni when he hears the voice in the sanctuary in chapter 3 of the first book of Samuel. Isaiah says hineni when he hears the question, "Whom shall I send and who will go for us?" in chapter 6 of Isaiah. Hineni is the word of total readiness. It does not say, "I will think about it." It does not say, "I need more signs." It does not say, "when I am ready." Hineni says, "I am here now, whole available without prior conditions." And that is exactly what is missing in you. It is not a lack of feeling. It is not a lack of knowing. It is the lack of your hineni. It is the lack of the instant when you stop everything, silence the internal noise, and say to Deus with your whole heart, "I am here, I am ready, I cross over," without conditions, without clauses, without "if this happens first, then I will." Hineni is unconditional. That is why it appears in the most decisive moments of the Escritura, because a soul that says hineni has just crossed the border between the almost and the now. And here comes the third story. because it is the perfect portrait of Hineni turned into a practical decision. In the book of Atos, chapter 16, the Apostle Paulo arrives in the city of Philippos. On the Sabbath, he goes out to the riverbank where some women were gathered in prayer. And among these women was one named Lydia from the city of Thyatira, a seller of purple, a businesswoman, a merchant of fine fabrics, someone who lived by her own economic activity and had established social standing, in an era when that was extremely rare for a woman. The text says that the Lord opened her heart to heed the things spoken by Paulo. And what does Lydia do? She doesn't ask for time. She doesn't say, I need to think. She doesn't call the family to discuss it. She doesn't say, let me pray a few more days. The text says that she and her household were baptized, and immediately after she takes an initiative. She offers her house to host Paulo and his companions. Read her words. If you have judged me to be faithful to the Lord, come to my house and stay. And she persuaded them. The Greek word here, parabiazomai, indicates a strong insistence, almost pressure. She practically forced Paulo to accept. Lydia crossed over. On the same day, heart opened, decision made, action executed, house opened. This is the rhythm of Hineni. There is no gap between hearing and acting. It is Shuv and Hineni in the same movement, in the same breath. And that is what separates those who change from those who stay. Those who change do not have more time than you. They do not have more clarity than you. They do not have more signs than you. Those who change have decided not to live between hearing and acting anymore. They decided to close that gap. They decided that when the heart is touched, the body goes along, on the same day, at the same hour, in the same decision. The HeartMath Institute in the United States, which has been researching the relationship between internal decisions and physiological responses for decades, has shown in repeated studies that the act of making a clear decision, an executed decision, not just a thought-out one, produces in seconds a reorganization of heart rate variability, cortisol levels, and brain coherence. The body responds before the environment responds. When you decide for real, something inside you reorganizes immediately. Researchers from Fiocruz and the Universidade Federal do Rio de Janeiro, in studies on the relationship between executed decisions and markers of chronic stress in Brazilian adults, found analogous results. Chronic procrastination of important decisions is one of the most consistent predictors of subclinical inflammation, sleep disorders, and persistent fatigue with no identifiable organic cause. In other words, your soul putting off a decision for years is not just a spiritual problem. It is leaving marks on your body. And that is why people who finally cross over a decision put off for years report on the same day a physical sensation of lightness, of relief, of deeper breathing. It is not a coincidence. It is the physiology of Shuv. Before I give you the next part, turn on the bell there. I promise that the next video in the series will delve into exactly what comes after the crossing, because there is a post-decision desert that nobody tells you about, and if you're not prepared, you cross over and come back. The bell will notify you when this video goes up. Don't miss it, because today's video is the door, but the next one is how you sustain the crossing in the first 7 days, which is exactly where most people retreat. Now let's get to the internal gesture. What do you effectively need to do? It is not a technique, it is not a ritual, it is a simple sequence, but it requires total sincerity. First, you need to name the decision. You know what it is. Stop pretending you don't. Stop generalizing. Stop saying, I need to improve my life. What decision? Which one? Say the name. It could be a conversation.
Attention, you need to prepare now. I put together an exclusive resource for those who feel set apart for something greater, but live surrounded by noise, distractions, and mental overload. This is a 30-day journey that will transform your life, a guided path to armor your mind and prepare for what's coming, with daily practices of focus, boundaries, and discipline. Stop negotiating with the noise. Learn to spot distractions before they control you and strengthen your mind. Also available in an immersive audio version. Over 10,000 readers have already transformed their lives through the 30-day journey. Thousands of people have already started this transformation. People like you, who were tired of living in the fog, Ordinary people who decided to stop accepting mental chaos. Take advantage of this limited time offer only this month. Access your link just below in the pinned comment.